And when I finally grow up, I will let you know. Oh, I will let you know. I still play with Lego and Knott's Berry Farm is one of my favorites. Oh, I'm doing no harm. I'm just silly and I like to laugh. I leave a dripping wet trail every time I take a bath. Every time I take a bath. Oh, I made up my own language and I talk to the cats. Shall I be trusted? Oh, I can't answer that. I might be annoying with my baby voice. I don't want to force you. Please make your own choice. Please make your own choice. And when I finally grow up, I will let you know. Oh, I will let you know. I'm sick of this challenge. I'm so sick. The grown-ups must face. I much rather eat candy and jump rope with grace. I love to be lazy on weekdays and such. I copy my homework on Monday. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And when I finally grow up, I will let you know. I will let you know. And when I finally grow up, I will let you know. I will let you know. And when I finally grow up, I will give you a call.
Well, well, well. Uh, Hello there, and welcome to my Res Day stream. Thank you very much to all the people who already wished me a happy Res Day. It's a very special day for every second lifer, and I'm gonna try not to make this too much about me, but it is my Res Day, so um, am I not the greatest? And I brought two people who have to confirm this, Bren and Arduin. Um, I'm here on an undisclosed location. Maybe we'll disclose it, and folks may want to drop in. The only thing that I want to mention is please do not use voice. I have a few things prepared. Uh, Please, when you come in world, use chat, and we will see the chat, and people on the stream will also see the chat. So we're we're going to have giveaways today, and the giveaway is made by Arden Schwartzman, and it's a record player, and the record player has an album in it by an obscure artist who has a similar name like I do. I have absolutely no idea if this is any good, but the song in the pre-roll with the little slideshow of some past slides is actually a song from this album, When I Will Finally Grow Up. Now, 17 years in SL, absolutely amazing. Let me just say I'm not going anywhere. You may have heard some rumors, and I will address them, and I also will ask your opinion on moving forward. But I'm not going anywhere, and the my work as a documentarian or hobby ethnographer or whatever I should call myself according to you. I'm taking suggestions. Is not going to I'm not going to end this work. What I have prepared for today are a bunch of rare videos, mini documentaries, and other things that I've done over the years with various teams, and I would like to show them. I'm going to introduce them a little bit, but they are pieces that made a huge impact on me moving forward as a documentarian, and I want to share this with you because it's interesting when you look back at some of the stuff that you put out, and it's just there's virtually no views on some of these videos, and I was like, wow, this is good stuff, important stuff. Anyway, there's a lot of people on YouTube. Thank you to everyone for the Res Day wishes. I'll keep shouting out people's names as we move forward. Oh yeah, and I mentioned the giveaway. So we have 17 giveaways, 17 copies of this one of a kind Black Forest, the Black Forest TBF. Uh, Great songs from the public domain. Now, last time I checked, this album is not in the public domain, but who cares? It's on this thing, and you can get it if you answer a medium to complex question about Second Life. So um, maybe we should start with the first question, and you can see the name of the person who heads the Black Forest operation, Arden Schwartzman, and you have how we're going to do this. You have to message him in world. Okay, you have to message him in world the answer to the question, and the first person to message him the answer privately is going to get one of those items. We're also joined by the Second Life Book Club manager who looks like Catty today. Catty, and we'll address this a little bit later as well. This avatar um, originated from a drawing by my son when he was 7 years old, I believe. And the funny thing is, this is my first Second Life anecdote. When my son was in second grade or maybe third grade, I forget when they ask kids, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Bren Arden, do you know? Is it second grade? So, they ask the kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And kids say like, I want to be a train conductor or whatever. And we had somebody in the neighborhood, the father made a lot of money, and that kid said, I want to be a millionaire, and teacher asked him like, how are you going to become a millionaire? He said, I don't know. I just want to be one. So it made total sense because he never saw his father, but they had a lot of dough. So he wanted to be a millionaire. Anyway, I don't remember what grade this is usually asked from the kids, maybe second grade. My son was asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And my son answered, this is a true story. He said, "I want to create a virtual world without lag." Okay? So this was this was around 2000, let's see, 2010 maybe? Was it 10? No. No, it was 2008. Anyway, my memory is shot. So, Arden, should we do the first question for people? Oh, here's Gap. How did you find us? Dang. Arden, should we
Yes.
bring
Hi.
people in? Should we?
uh, well, I think the cat's out of the bag already. There's someone found us.
Yeah, how did he find us? Geez.
That's some good investigative work there. Maybe we
Okay.
should leave another clue.
Okay. Whatever. I'm gonna say Terrania. I'm gonna say SL Destination Guide, Terrania. And Terrania is, of course, a reference to Perry Roden, which is a German sci-fi series, the oldest sci-fi series in the world, oldest continuous sci-fi series, older than Star Trek. Terrania. Okay, Second Life Destination Guide. But anyway, let's start with the first question, Arden, to give away this this strange music here. Again, we don't know if it's good. We know it's not in the public domain, Arden. Maybe my lawyer wants to talk to your lawyer about that. But Arden, do you have a question for people who want to win this thing?
I do. Um, I have to admit, though, I don't have 17 questions, so I'm going to have to make up
I help
stuff.
you.
And oh, good. I have them.
But they're not going to be as easy like what
Yeah.
year was Draxtor born, right?
No.
Not that easy.
No. No.
Okay.
Uh. So here's question number one. Um, Gonna read it here. Name two American TV programs that Second Life had a part in.
Oh my God.
Two
Name two
real
TV
life
programs,
American TV programs.
real
Yeah.
life American TV programs, not some Bulgarian TV programs, actual bona fide Hollywood programming that had Second Life in them. You mean like as a
Yep.
reference or a storyline or something like that?
Mainstream media stuff.
Mainstream media. Okay. Not not
And
not some YouTube channel, right?
yeah, so don't type it in the YouTube chat, but I am it to me
I am
privately.
it to Arden Schwartzman, 1N. Okay, that's the
Yes.
first question. And Arden, let me know in text when we get that. Um, I want to play the first video that I prepared, and through I was going through tons of stuff, and let me see here. Ah, okay, right. Um, I was going through tons of stuff through 17 years of work, and a lot of stuff is on my YouTube channel, and people know that I uh, worked under contract for Linden Lab for the official channel the last 6 years officially, and before that, so on and off with sponsorship. But there's a lot of stuff that people have not seen, and also YouTube likes to bury things, under the recommendations for Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson. So those are my main competitors in the field of intellectual programming. So I picked something that we did in 2010, and it's the Kansas to Cairo project. Now, the Kansas to Cairo project was a project between USC, University of Southern California in Los Angeles, and Ain Shams University in Cairo, Egypt. This was a project where students of architecture were tasked to build up a space in Second Life with concepts of mixed use, open space, public space, apartments, etc., and work together in teams. And this the design would be built in real life in Egypt. To be honest, I don't know if that ever came to fruition, but the project between these two universities was absolutely amazing. And I was tasked to document this, and I did a little three-part documentary. Each video is about 4 minutes long, and to me, this really stands out still as one of the most amazing, you know, uh, some people call this use case of virtual worlds. I simply call it intercultural communication. I call it, uh, I don't know, what do I call it? Community building. Community building not only between the students who worked on this thing, but specifically to work on something that will benefit the public as a piece of architecture, right? This project was accompanied by a very famous architect, David Denton, who is still in Second Life. David Denton worked with Frank Gehry. He worked on a lot of LA landmarks and other places. And let's just watch part 1 of this project, Kansas to Cairo. You'll see in part 1 why the project was named that. Had to do with President Obama's famous speech in 2009. And yeah, let's play part 1 of the Kansas to Cairo project. Here we go.
Like it or not, the future belongs to global citizens using network technology to collaborate, and virtual worlds will be one important tool to overcome not only thousands of miles, but cultural differences as well.
Hi, my name is Noha. I am from Ain Shams University. My major is the urban design and urban planning, and my avatar name is Water Lily Memo.
Using her avatar, Cairo native Noha Abu El Ez was able to connect with students from the University of Southern California in Los Angeles almost as if they were in the same room.
I could work with my friends at the same time, doing everything together.
Noha's team used Second Life as training ground to develop urban design concepts for a real-world site. A culturally significant one, says her teacher at Ain Shams University, Professor Amr Atya.
It lies between two fantastic landmarks. One of them is the Great Pyramids. The other is the new Grand Egyptian Museum. This public space needs to be designed for different cultures.
Atya and his architect friend David Denton got the idea to collaborate like this during U.S. President Barack Obama's famous Cairo speech back in June 2009, when the president pledged to
create a new online network so a young person in Kansas can communicate instantly with a young person in Cairo.
The Kansas to Cairo, or K2C project, was born. Additional resources for K2C came from the U.S. Department of State, which had been successfully using virtual worlds as a catalyst for public diplomacy in the past. And so, for one semester, 30 avatars were flying around Second Life, designing residential and retail units while debating new urbanism,
a revitalization of commercial streets now taking place everywhere,
correcting some stereotypes.
Our media doesn't reflect who we are, your media doesn't reflect who you are,
and digesting feedback from their teachers.
I really hope that you're able to get together with your Egyptian counterparts and walk them through your builds to date.
Professor Kara Barteld ran K2C operations out of USC. She says modern architecture was the unifying language among K2C participants.
We all understand space, light, and form. So a column to me is the same thing as a column to Egyptian students.
Bartle's students did run into a few issues.
With our coursework and our schoolwork, there is still the real-world implications of time and schedules.
I don't even like to chat online. The fact that, you can talk to a stranger felt a little uncomfortable.
But over time, the task at hand brought those strangers closer together.
A public space has less conflicts. It's not that much of a personal thing like a house This open space opens minds.
This comes as no surprise to mentor David Denton.
People tend to leave behind their identity, be it ethnic or nationality, and become citizens of Second Life. You quickly come to realize that human nature is pretty much the same. That's a pretty extraordinary thing.
And just in case family or friends need proof that your semester of online collaboration was worth it, do what Salma Schweika from Ain Shams University did.
At the end, when they saw my products and my buildings, they began to believe. My mother was proud of these buildings. Every guest come to our home, she tell me, show them your buildings on Second Life.
Great job, Salma and team. Maybe someday you guys could bring a bit of color to my humble home in the virtual suburbs. It really needs it. Until next time, I'm Draxtor Dupre.
Yeah, that was Kansas to Cairo project part 1, and actually this was sponsored by the U.S. State Department, for full disclosure. Amazing. I mean, I have so many fond memories of this project. We're gonna watch part 2 in just a bit, but looking at this now, it's just amazing. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir or stating the obvious. Second Life was and is completely ahead of its time. And it's also a throwback to a time when the internet was not algorithmically or social media platforms, if you want to classify SL as such, um, as a social media offering, where these platforms were not algorithmically based, so people could interact person to person around their shared interest. This project was amazing, and you saw a little glimpse in the back at the end, and you'll see some more little tidbit. I shot the real life footage of this project, and again, this was a this wait a minute, was this a 3-month project? I shot it with a flip cam. Now, who on YouTube knows what a flip cam is? Out yourself as an old person. Uh, the flip cams were just amazing, and I actually still have that flip cam, and I plugged it in the other day, but of course it's not no longer working. Maybe I'll have it looked at by someone. Maybe it can be revived. But the flip cam was a total game changer. Um, pre iPhone cameras, or the ubiquity of smartphones. And I did a lot of stuff with the flip cam. But the Kansas to Cairo project, of course, also you see me as in my old avatar. It took me a very long time to upgrade myself to how I look now. Also, clothing wise, I always had my suit, my red tie, or a turtleneck. That was pretty much it. Granny says on YouTube, I had a flip cam. Granny, of course, I mean your name suggests that you also had an 8-track, but I digress. Now, Arduin, do we have an answer to our first question? Arden says, like pointing a Polaroid camera at yourself. Arden, do we have a winner for the giveaway, for the birthday giveaway?
Yes, we have 3. Granny, actually.
Granny? Wow.
And Shaila, the super gecko.
Shaila.
And number 3, Valencia, Skydancer. Valencia.
Congratulations, and of course, this is a very American-centric question. Which American TV shows had a Second Life reference? Now, I'm gonna throw out question number 2, which is really, really difficult. And again, I am the answer to Arduin. If for the folks who are just tuning in, we're giving away 17 of this amazing record player, the suitcase record player. Check this out. It closes, it opens, and it has music in it. The music, I don't know if it's any good. Could be total garbage. I mean, the name Drax is attached to all sorts of things. It's attached to a coal-fired power plant in the UK. It's attached to some sort of weird Marvel character. Every time I Google myself, that guy comes up, and it's of course attached to your lovely self-deprecating, not narcissistic SL documentarian. So now my question is, If you have the answer, I am it to Arden in world. Which former Linden was completely obsessed with watermelons? Boom, here you go. And as the answers are coming in, don't put it in the YouTube chat. Put it in world. We're going to go to part 2 of the 3-part series, Kansas to Cairo. And again, you can find the Kansas to Cairo documentary 3-parter on my YouTube channel. So this is not a secret, cutting room floor type thing. This is something I'm quite proud of, but it's completely buried out there. So I want to bring attention to it. The project, I followed these guys in world. I don't know. I amassed, how documentaries work. I mean, you have a minute usable material. You might have 10 hours of footage where you just follow people around. So I have not met the people in part 2 yet. Part 1, you can see a little glimpse of 2 of the Egyptians. So maybe we'll meet in part 3. Who knows? People on YouTube have no idea which former Linden was obsessed with watermelons. Good. So this is a hard one. I thought this is probably the easiest one. Here's Kansas to Cairo project part 2. Enjoy.
Not every day can architecture students shape a culturally important site in another country they've never been to merely by sending their avatars to work over the internet.
This Kansas to Cairo program has been amazing. It captures the spirit of President Obama's speech in Cairo way back in 2009. Hi, I'm William May with the U.S. State Department's International Information Programs. Supporting the students and teachers in this virtual and physical exchange has been an incredible opportunity for us to bring together youth from different countries and bridge cultures. The virtual world allowed students not only to learn about architecture, but more importantly, they learned about themselves. Solid public diplomacy.
More than 30 students from the University of Southern California in Los Angeles and Ain Shams University in Cairo, Egypt, used the whole palette of Web 2.0 social networking tools to collaborate on a 70-acre site that
kind of perspectively looks toward the pyramids between the new Grand Egyptian Museum, which has been designed and is starting construction.
Those students took very, very strong steps towards this beautiful century that has made this whole world extremely small.
When an American student builds a building, the Egyptian students may comment about this is not suitable for this community, elaborate more on the culture and social values.
Over a 3-month period, K2C participants communicated exclusively online, designing within the immersive environment of Second Life, holding joint classes,
and get to know more about each other's countries and the difference between the two.
Team members Tiffany Way from Los Angeles and Nurhan Safaroni from Cairo became best friends over the course of the project.
Studying the same thing, having the same hectic schedules.
We met during first class session. She was one of the first people to run up to me. A really exciting moment that she picked me out of all the other USC students.
When you see someone for the first time, he's too old, he's too young, he's too fat, he's too thin. That didn't happen with Second Life. You just see the project itself.
Avatar-based communication is powerful, and the handful of local USC students I was able to interview in the physical world echoed that sentiment.
I mean, everyone starts at the same place in Second Life. You all start with, you pick your first name, you pick a last name out of a hat.
The identity of people is truly based on their inner character, kind of like if we were all colorblind, because you are.
A lot of the walls actually, I think, are torn down because of this, and it's really about how much you put into it.
Someone who did put a lot of time into mentoring students was architect David Denton.
Good morning, Prima. Good morning, Julia. Do you have a mic, Tamer? Are you able to speak today?
Yes, I do.
Denton tirelessly critiqued the designs of both Americans and Egyptians.
Somehow it needs to be pulled together.
Praised progress.
I like what you've done very much here. Captures the kind of visual richness you see in Egypt.
But never stopped inquiring about the less visible.
And have the four of you been working well together?
Yeah.
Denton's commitment was infectious. Even his trademark footwear in Second Life caught on with others. Bare feet as symbol for coming ashore a new world full of possibilities.
You see commonality that I think is really significant. You put aside any prejudices you may have and relate to people as just people.
I couldn't agree more, David. Until next time, I'm Draxtor Dupre.
Wow. When you look at these feet, I mean, we came a long way with mesh feet. I can tell you that, and probably other people can tell me that because my body is still from 2013. So that was the Kansas to Cairo project part two. And you saw also David Denton here, the great David Denton, really, a very, very famous architect who was instrumental in leading these students from both worlds. I was going to say countries, Egypt and United States, to have the very successful collaborations. The one thing that I always say when people ask me about this project, one thing that's stuck in my mind is people changing their hair all the time. The Egyptian students, they love changing their hair. And also, when I did one-on-one sort of post-game interviews with people, some of the American students mentioned, they did not complain, but they did mention that they had issues with scheduling. Okay, let's just say that. And then I asked David Denton about this, DB Bailey in World, and he said, you know what, these are different cultures, and that's completely fine. And the Americans should, chill a little bit if somebody shows up a couple hours late, or maybe even a day late. And he stressed within this basically intercultural collaboration that, and of course, they're students, they have to produce something that they're graded on, but the whole structure of this project was loose in the sense that it was really designed to get the creative juices flowing and not put pedal to the metal and be very regimented in terms of schedule and stuff like that. Okay, if you're just tuning in, this is my Res Day stream. I've been in Second Life for 17 years. If people are interested in me very briefly retelling the story of how I found Second Life, I will. If I get 5 people in the YouTube stream that say yes, please, then I will tell it. But I just don't want to bore people because I feel like I told that story a million times, but maybe you haven't heard it. It's definitely a fun story. Um, but yeah, so 17 years in SL, and maybe a little later I'll address moving forward because people may have heard that Linden Lab is not renewing my contract making videos, so I will stop making videos for the official Second Life channels. The last video just came out. It's the Valentine's Day video, and that's my last video for them. So I'm reassessing, sort of analyzing my position in life, also as a family man and somebody who is financially responsible for a family, how to proceed, and I'll ask a few questions around that as well in a little bit. But for now, we are giving away these record players, and we have. God, I get messages from this DJ. Who is that guy? Arduin, did people answer the question? Did people win?
Yes. It wasn't an easy one though. It took a while.
How is that not easy, Arduin? For you?
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was easy. Yeah. So the winners. Maybe I should mention the answer too. The answer, of course, is Torley Linden.
Torley Linden.
Torley, friendly greetings, Linden. So
Torley was
the people.
Since people don't know, real quick, I mean, Torley really was. I mean, he did so many important things, but what most people know about him is the early instructional videos. They are just absolutely amazing, and you can still find them on YouTube. And Torley, of course, was completely obsessed with the watermelon color scheme, and he actually, there's a whole bunch of wind lights that you can find. They're, I think, built into Firestorm. Torley settings and stuff. And Torley's also an amazing musician. So I've met a lot of people, Ardern, that had no idea that he was a professional musician. But anyway,
Yes.
so Torley Linden.
Torley. So the winners, right? The first winner, Dex Euromat.
Dex
Second-
Euromat, or as I call him, Dex Euromat.
Euromat, indeed. The second winner, Mystic Q Makon Ragnarok, if I pronounce that correctly. Ragnarok in
Wait a
good
minute, these
Nordic.
people are here. How did people find
Yes.
us?
Yeah,
Dex is
yeah.
right here.
Some people, they're on to us. The third one is called SLN World in the chat in the YouTube channel. I don't know their SL name. They have to IM me or reveal their SL name too.
SL in World. Okay.
SLN World, that's their YouTube name. So, but I also want to do an honorable mention here for trying desperately, and that's Clyde. Clyde.
Yeah. What did
British-
Clyde say? What were some of the things that Clyde said?
Let me again. Yes. So Mark, Kate, Philip, Andrew, Robin, sighs heavily, Jack, Rodvik, all in vain. But honorable mention, and who knows? So thank you for trying, Clyde.
Okay. But again, people have to message Ardern in World, not on YouTube, okay? Very clear rules. Now let me scroll back. If people want to hear my REZ Day story, how many yes they'll get? Yes, please. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do tell. Do tell is not a yes. So, but 5. We got 5. Now, let's conclude the Kansas to Cairo project. I already teased it a little bit, but you probably guessed that I did meet the Egyptian students in LA for the conclusion of this project, and this was really amazing for them when they came to America. Let's play this without much further ado. One thing that also stuck in my mind from this project was that the Egyptian students, when they built stuff in SL for this project, one of the areas of conflict or discussion, let's put it that way, was between the Americans and the Egyptians. Was the Egyptians wanted to build big, bulky mall type structures. And the American students were like, no, we don't want that. We want like organic markets with tents over them. So, you see where I'm getting at here. It's really interesting. There was definitely sort of this flavor of the Egyptians. I don't want to say trying to Americanize the project or maybe impress the Americans with their knowledge of current American culture, and the Americans were completely sick and tired. The American students sick and tired of that part of the architectural trend, and they looked at very organic, walkable communities like open air markets, which they actually then implemented, and which now, by the way, in Los Angeles is very, very famous. The Third Street Market and several other projects like that actually came to fruition in real life. But anyway, so here's part 3 of the Kansas to Cairo project. Let me pull up this video. And again, you can watch these on YouTube as well. The conclusion of the Kansas to Cairo project.
I think I know more about America than what the Americans know about Egypt.
Because American media is all over the TV and the internet, and Egyptian media is not.
Hollywood and its stunning ability to shape perception.
You're used to open kitchens, but here we think the kitchen should be closed.
Well, not all of us can afford to live like that. I think it's time to compare primetime TV to the real thing.
My name is Heba Ghalib. My avatar name is Heba Ghalib Emerald.
My name is Ben Dansby and my avatar is Ben Ixtar.
California native Ben Dansby and Heba Ghalib from Cairo worked together online for 3 months during the Kansas to Cairo project. Heba was one of 6 Egyptian architecture students who traveled to the United States this past summer to meet their American counterparts for the very first time. When the group arrived in Los Angeles, I joined them for some sightseeing.
We went to Beverly Hills and we saw Hollywood sign and remains of Hollywood film.
Then we went to City Walk and we listened to an Spanish band. It was really amazing.
Heba, Nurhan, Salma, Mohammed, Rageh, and Saeed had never been out of their home country. They were excited to connect with their American mentor David Denton, who shared stories about local landmarks and discussed the latest trends in new urbanism.
The reason I wanted them to see the farmers market is that it reminds me very much of a souk, of an Arabic souk.
The Islamic Cairo is more like this, and it's open. It's the old crafts and the new crafts together.
And people love it. It defies all of the common sense rules of building shopping centers.
The Kansas to Cairo project was the first full-scale Second Life project for the U.S. Department of State, which is increasingly using social media to engage youth and facilitate cultural exchange. David Denton says he is thrilled to finally meet the Egyptian students in the physical world.
I still know them as avatars. It's like meeting someone new in one respect, but on the other respect, as I get to know them, I begin to realize they are in fact very much like their avatars.
Hard to believe that these friendships all started out in Second Life, a place where people from all over the world pursue a million different dreams and, kind of sounds like Los Angeles, doesn't it?
Professor David Denton said that they speak here more than 86 different languages, and all people are coming together for one nation. This is very, very amazing. Very amazing.
As our friends fly to Washington, D.C. to meet State Department officials and present at the American Institute of Architects, Ain Shams University professor Amer Atya urges us to grab the momentum. The young generation, he says, is ready for dialogue.
The virtual world is a great window for bringing affordable knowledge and education. I would consider it as the biggest think tank ever.
Engaging youth online through social media is only one aspect of effective cross-cultural exchange, says Atya. And he's right. Technology cannot substitute for good conversation over a delicious plate of real food. Until next time, I'm Draxtor Dupre.
Well, Kansas to Cairo Part 3. I mean, watching this again after so many years, again, I'm really proud of what we did, proud of the people who thought of this project, the way it was implemented. I mean, can you believe that they went to DC and presented Second Life at the State Department? I mean, unbelievable. Um, and some of the sort of visual language with the mixed reality stuff, obviously stuff that I'm really fond of. They let me explore that with this video. The end I'm quite proud of. As you can tell, we tried to sort of fake a touchscreen version of Second Life. Now 14 years later, this may actually come to fruition. Who knows? Maybe it's going to take another 10 years before that actually happens. But the one of the screens said real life arriving. I mean, this is I mentioned earlier, Linden Lab has not renewed the contract, and I emailed a few folks and informed them because I had a lot of works in the pipeline, and I said maybe this is a blessing in disguise. And I don't, I'm very, very grateful to Linden Lab. Ebbe brought me in originally. Actually, you know what? I have this. Where do I have this? I think I have a photo of me when I met former Linden Lab CEO Ebbe Altberg, when I first met him on April 18th, 2014. Now look at me. Look at this used car salesman guy. And Ebbe, and what did I give him? I gave him a used copy of Second Life, the official guide. Okay, we met in Santa Cruz, where I lived on the Monterey Peninsula at the time. And he wanted to go around and meet people locally in the Bay Area, people who were doing stuff in Second Life. And we met, and he immediately started sponsoring, Linden Lab started sponsoring my Drax Files World Maker series. And then a little bit later, I offered them a retainer type contract where they sponsored me, and I had complete freedom to pursue the projects in not only the themes, the types of stories, but also the way they were presented. Um, yeah, really, really grateful to Ebis specifically, but also to Linden Lab for a very long, very fruitful collaboration in that sense. A collaboration that is now ending, and I'll ask some specific question to you guys who are watching this a little bit later. If you want me to proceed with these types of stories that we just saw that you're familiar with, what kind of format should those be? And I have to think of a way to make it viable because I do have to earn a living. Um, and that was what the Linden Lab contract enabled me to do, which is to really focus on these stories and kept a little bit of the pressure off my back. But speaking of Ebbe, I want to say one more thing. I have another slide here. Oh yeah, I met again. I met Ebbe again here at Linden Lab. That's in 2015. Look at that. Ah, miss Ebbe. Ebbe was really the best. And I remember when Ebbe came in. Do you remember, Ardrin, when Ebbe came in, they had the only people were really nervous. Oh my God, are they bringing in another corporate guy? The only thing that was the only knowledge that people had was that he was working for Microsoft or something. And people were like, "Oh my God, right? They're going to bring in a corporate guy and it's over." And then there had the only image they had of Ebbe, and I don't have it in my slides here, but the only image they had was him in front of a green background. That was the only image that people found on the internet. And then, and then people were putting stuff together, and that was just hilarious. And Ebbe turned out to be probably the best CEO. Nothing against Philip. Philip is a fantastic guy, and I'm pretty sure that Philip would probably say, as somebody running the daily operations, maybe Ebbe was better than him. Again, I don't want to diminish Philip's accomplishments, but yeah, Rodvig introduced new tech. I'm not saying anything bad against these other guys, but I worked with all of them in some capacity over the years, and Ebbe was just someone who saw a long-term strategy uh, and and had a vision of Second Life that was, I think, very much like how I saw Second Life. I remember when we met in Santa Cruz, he said something like Santa Cruz is like Second Life. There are pockets that are beautiful, um, you know, h- little Victorian villas that are uh, res- restored and the paint is immaculate. And then there's some places that are pretty ugly, and there are potholes and stuff. And sometimes the beach is really dirty, and then there's old hippies running around. And he kind of basically said, because I said, well, are you going to sort of Disneyfy Second Life? And he said, no, look at Santa Cruz. Second Life is like Santa Cruz. It's all over the place. Of course, when we go into detail in that discussion, we could mention that Santa Cruz is also very much gentrified, and gentrification does not spare anyone. But his point, I think, is well taken. So we got a bunch of people here. This is cool. People found it. I'm not going to say again where we are. You'll have to investigate. Please don't use voice. Comment and chat if you're in world, and um, I'll pick it up. Loki is on the YouTube. He says Second Life is like Santa Claus. Santa Cruz, but that is pretty good. I don't know if Loki, if you think that Second Life is like Santa Claus, because Santa Claus tends to bring the goodies on time. Now we need to give away three more, right? We need to give away. We're giving away this record player with this box of records. Bren, do you want to ask a question? I'm putting the spotlight on Bren. Bren is here. Our friend Bren. Thank you for coming, Bren. Now I'm putting Bren on the spot. Bren, you can announce the next question moving forward. But Arjun, do you have another question? And when people answer it correctly, we'll give away the record.
Hey, yeah.
Bren, you have a question that you think is not too easy, not too difficult?
I'm unprepared.
Okay. You'll think of something until the next break. Arjun, do you have something?
Yes.
Because
Here's a question. When was server-side baking introduced in Second Life?
Oh my God, Bren, you need to close your mic because we got this feedback in the loop because you have it over your speakers. So Arjun, the question is, when was server-side? Say that again because I'm not a technical.
Server-side baking. It was big and it was innovative.
Oh.
SSB. When was that introduced in the
Oh my God, these are too difficult. This is just so that Loki wins something. Loki has a question. At what point did Drax decide to ditch the shirt and tie? Ooh, that's actually a good question. Okay, so we'll have two questions. I'm going to play another video, and people have time to answer these two questions. Server-side baking, when was it introduced, is question number one. The other one, when did I change my avatar? And there was some subtle changes, but there was a big change from the old skin and suit and tie to the new skin and a bunch of different iterations of clothing. But there was a year. I only want to know the year. Maybe Loki, we should actually ask also the year. Here's a little hint. The year also introduced a shirt that was made by Loki Elliott and that had Pacman on it. And then Linden Lab Lawyers threatened to sue me. That's not true. So those are the two questions. Dex knows, but he has already won. So Dex, people who won are, of course, not allowed to play again. Now, I want to play another video that I'm very proud of. This is a project that we called Fluffy on a Meshin. Fluffy on a Meshin was a project of sort of scripted comedy. We wanted to do scripted comedy. Pookie Amsterdam and I, we came up with this concept. That was one of the first mesh avatars. Was an avatar, and the name was Fluffy. And a group of developers, creators from the Czech Republic put that out on Marketplace, and I saw it and said, "This is awesome. We're going to build a scripted comedy show around Fluffy." Who in the chat knows Fluffy? Probably nobody, because people don't remember anything. Oh God, I just disrespected the audience and my friends and my fans. Oh my God, on my own REZ Day. But that's normal. That's what birthday REZ Day people do. They get drunk and then they yell at you that you came for the party. But anyway, Fluffy. So Fluffy was there, out there on Marketplace, one of the first mesh non-humanoid avatars, and we decided to do a scripted comedy show in 2011. The first one was called Primland. And Fluffy, the concept of this show was to poke gentle fun at Second Life culture, but was also specifically to poke fun, initially at least, at the anxiety, not poke fun, but in a very light-hearted, gentle way, address the anxiety about the introduction of mesh, right? And I remember the first one that we did, Primland, I got tons of messages with F you, screw you, how can you make fun? Mesh is coming, it's going to destroy Second Life. We're all screwed. It's going to destroy the economy. I made a living with prim-based stuff, and now I'm screwed, etc., etc., etc. We yeah, I got into interesting conversations with people. I apologized if they thought that we were glib with this particular first episode, and then we went on and we did 19 episodes, and they were very labor intensive. I mean, there was a lot of really the script, and I mean, the shooting script and the dialogue and the character design was really, really thought out and intricate, and we really wanted to kind of compete with any other, YouTube comedy show, animated comedy show, but do everything in machinima, in Second Life machinima without a lot of post production. Now, having said that, this episode that we're about to see is episode 12, and this one is called The Italian Job, and there's a lot of post production in there. You'll see. This is extremely ambitious and one of my favorite ones. There were 19 episodes. They're all on my YouTube channel. But this one, I know if Strawberry from Linden Lab is watching, she's probably going to be disappointed that we're not playing the one where Strawberry plays a cameo. That is also a really good one. But this one, The Italian Job, is pretty good. So here's Fluffy on a Mission, episode 12, The Italian Job.
Bone is so awesome. I can't wait until the movie comes out. Yeah, but have you seen these? That looks like it's for little kids. Oh no, this is international spy and conspiracy stuff. Check it out.
I had arranged a meeting at an outdoor cafe. The woman sitting across from me was clearly not as high-ranking within the syndicate as she made herself out to be. No offense, but this is just wasting my time, Mrs.
Just call me Ethel. Ethel, no.
Where have I heard this name before?
I'm wanted by Interpol, and I do kids' parties on the side. What do you want, Senor McFluff? Money?
A travel bag appeared on the chair next to me. Beautiful camel leather. You know exactly what I want, and I won't be leaving without it.
Very well, Mr. McFluff. I regret that it has come to this.
At that very moment, a handful of goons appeared from out of nowhere. They weren't looking for a game of Parcheesi, but I had come prepared. So there I was, alive, yes, but not an inch closer to getting Caddy back to headquarters. Time was running out. My next move would have to be...
You kids gonna buy something or what?
Huh? Uh-oh.
This ain't Borders. They would belly up for a reason.
Let's get out of here, dude.
It's okay, Fluffy. You can come out now.
Oh, thanks, Nick. Now, let's go over Caddy's last message again. I'm so close to deciphering it.
We need to find out when they rotate the guards. Then we can strike.
And striking we shall be.
Oops, I ended too fast. Pookie Media's logo was coming in. Pookie Amsterdam, absolutely instrumental, writing the dialogue with me and developing the characters. So this was one of the more elaborate ones with all the real life component, but just so much fun. 19 episodes, and then the guys who designed the fluffy character and the initial mesh avatar in SL, there was no falling out. I never owned the character's copyright. It was with their permission, but then they decided to actually market Fluffy as an app where you could have Fluffy make fart noises. And I thought, nah, no, I'm not going to do free advertisement for something that people, when they look up, hey, where is this coming from? Oh, wait a minute, it's from a fart app. So anyway, yeah, and the SL Book Club manager today is dressed like Catty. I mentioned this before, may have missed it, but Catty was originally a drawing that my son did, and then we made an avatar out of it. You know what? Shame on me. I completely forgot who made that avatar. It might have been actually these guys. Loki, do you remember? By the way, thank you everybody for the Res Day wishes. Thomas, thank you. And oh, by the way, since I am now unemployed, let me just say this is not a stream for me to monetize. This is for me to give back and celebrate my Res Day. But if you like to support the channel, I'm gonna go out a little bit later with a very concrete idea. But if you like to support the channel, you can become a member of this channel. You can make a donation via Ko-fi. All that stuff is pro bono. This is all a labor of love, and I put in quite a bit of Linden dollars, not for this particular stream, but for the book club and everything else. So now, where were we? Arduin. Do we have a winner?
Hey, yes, 3. So the answer
we gave
for
away 9 already, right?
yes.
Okay.
Cool. We gave away 6. The upcoming 3, including the upcoming 3, that'll be 9. But so question number 3: what year was a server-side baking introduced? That was in 2013, and the winners are Tirips. The second winner, Katia Roska, and the third winner, finally, Clyde. After the honorable mention.
Clyde threw the spaghetti monster against the wall, and now she's winning.
She did indeed. I got all the years.
Did she go through all the years until you said yes? Oh my god.
Yeah. So that strategy has now been tolerated just for once, but
Okay.
But that won't count in the next question anymore.
Okay. I have a question. If Bren has a question, again, I don't want to put you on the spot. Bren, tell me in chat yes or no, because I have the next question. But before I do the next question, I also realized I actually have Loki says Ardern speaking makes me jump. Is Ardern so loud? Oh my god, Ardern, you need to chill a little bit. Am I not the loudest in here? No, Arden you sound fantastic. Who cares what Loki says? Bren has a question. Okay, so Bren, you're going to pose the next question to give away this record player together with this bundle of CDs. Wait a minute, they're not CDs, right? Arden, they're whatever the kids listen to these days. So Bren, what's the question that people have to answer? Bren, you can talk in voice.
Hi. What was the name of the street of the original? Can you not hear me?
Oh, I can hear you just fine, but you have to mute your background because we're going to get terrible feedback. You're listening to the live stream. See, that's what I learned in terrestrial radio. Shut off the radio, Bren! Okay, I'm going to mute Bren real quick, and I think I know what the answer is. How do I bring her down? Okay, mute. I can't do that. Bren, you have to either stop the
Is
stream
that better?
or... Yeah. Okay, so the original what? Bren? Hello, hello, hello? Okay, I'm not sure if she can hear me, but I think I know what the question is. What is the name of the street where the original Linden Lab offices were located? Sent the answer to Arduin. Where was... What's the name of the street where the original Linden Lab offices
Can you
were
hear
located?
me now?
Brent, can you please mute yourself? There's a lot of noise. We're going to start the next video. Okay, I'll mute the entirety. Now, what was the name of the street? Send your answers to Arduin. And while these answers are coming in, the next video that I have queued up here is... Oh, Loki has a great question. How long ago did SL get voice? Now let's do that as an alternative question. When did SL get voice, and what was the original name or the name of the street where the Linden Lab offices were located? And please, everybody in the room, please mute your mic because I'm going to play back the next video. The next video is also from the Obama era. I mean, I have tons of stuff, but for some reason, this also came up when I looked through the archives. And this was when President Obama was in Ghana. And there was actually this should also be a good question. There was a multiverse gathering in two virtual worlds to watch Obama's speech and discuss the implications of that speech or his trip to Ghana. And those worlds were, of course, Second Life, and the other one was MetaPlace. Who remembers MetaPlace? I know Loki does. And MetaPlace was very, very cool. Loki, if you want to type a little bit about MetaPlace and who developed it, I think that's great context. So this video, I didn't make a note when we put that out, but that video was called Obama in Ghana and the Metaverse is Watching. So that was way before the recent Metaverse hype. And let's watch this video. And while we're watching this video, if you're just tuning in, you're tuning into my REZ Day party, and you can win this record player. We're giving away 17 for 17 years wasted in Second Life as a shut-in. I'm kidding. And do people still want to hear my my story, how I found out about Second Life? If I get 5 yeses, I might do it. But anyway, let's watch the Obama and Ghana thing. And Arduin sent the questions, sent the answers to the questions to Arduin in world. The name of the street, and the other question is, when did voice come to SL? Here's Obama in Ghana.
While I was enjoying a few days off in President Barack Obama's former hometown of Honolulu recently, our man at the top was busier than ever. Mahalo for Wi-Fi for enabling me to follow his travels from meeting Russia's President Dmitry Medvedev in Moscow to the G8 summit in Italy. In Ghana's capital city Accra, President Obama made his first official address to African nations.
So I do not see the countries and peoples of Africa as a world apart. I see Africa as a fundamental part of our interconnected world, as partners with America on behalf of the future we want for all of our children.
Obama's 30-minute speech focused on democracy, opportunity, health, and conflict resolution. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the U.S. State Department demonstrated that effective public diplomacy in the 21st century must go beyond merely pushing out Twitter messages. William May is Director of Innovative Engagement Worldwide at the department.
We use text messaging to reach folks in Africa who do not have internet access. We took highlights of the speech and made them available, and then we got thousands and thousands of responses. We used Facebook, There was MetaPlace, and someone even put the speech up on Ustream TV, and that looped back into Second Life.
Compared to a 20% increase in Obama fans on Facebook immediately following the president's appearance, the combined 100 or so SL and MetaPlace avatars who gathered to watch him speak in the virtual realm might seem insignificant. But for Julius Sowu, who left Ghana for the UK in 1981, it was a thrill to have his voice heard during this global interactive viewing party.
Party politics has failed us. Consensus politics is where I'm at. If it means that I will sit on Facebook and comment against my party or on Second Life, it is the debate that matters.
And the debate among the audience certainly was animated, especially as Obama suggested that a strong partnership with Africa would require the same transparency he pledged for his own administration.
Governments that respect the will of their own people, that govern by consent and not coercion, are more prosperous, they are more stable and more successful than governments that do not.
Julius says social media has already helped jumpstart this transformation.
Gone are the days when news story would break, the minister would send it to his media department, they would resolve the issue, they would present the world with a comment about the issue. Now it's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, it's here, it's here, it's here. The minister doesn't have time to spin it.
Julius adds that social media has also leveled the playing field in business relations to some extent and considers this a wake-up call for investors.
It's an organic thing. If you're not part of the growth of it within Africa, you will not have a part of it. The shining outcome will be when more of us can sit down at the same table, virtually or real, and truth comes through. Virtual Worlds is here to stay.
No one would agree more than Second Life founder Philip Rosedale. SL recently celebrated its 6th birthday with the theme Future of Virtual Worlds.
The sense of sitting together with a group of people has a very different quality than the things we've built with social platforms generally in the past. I believe that a village in Africa with a couple of computers powerful enough to connect to a virtual world could be shared resources that people could use to communicate, work, learn. That access must be broadband, and so we have to solve that broadband problem.
In fact, internet penetration in Ghana is currently less than 5%. That's why Mark Frohart, Vice President for Africa, Health and Humanitarian Media at Internews, is rather skeptical about the role of computers in communicating on the African continent.
The future of the internet in Africa is not through the computer. We've already seen the explosion of cell phone use for transferring of credit. There are new platforms for getting news out to audio downloads. We don't have to worry about the internet cafes.
There might be other things to worry about, though. During the panel discussion, which followed Obama's speech, former ambassador to Qatar, Kenton Keith, voiced his concern about virtual worlds.
When I look at the minuscule amount of Americans who study or work abroad, I fear that this is, as exciting as it is, going to be too comfortable a space, and that people may indeed use this instead of the other kinds of exchanges that are absolutely essential.
It sure is comfortable, Mr. Keith, but I firmly trust that young people know how to utilize virtual worlds to get acquainted with other cultures, which they can then explore in the physical world. Perhaps what Obama said in Ghana applies to our online conduct as well.
The world will be what you make of it. You can serve in your communities and harness your energy and education to create new wealth and build new connections to the world. Yes, you can. Because in this moment, history is on the move.
I hear you, Mr. President. I guess I'm done hanging loose. Well, let's get to work. From somewhere out there, doing the best I can, I'm Draxtor DeGray.
Obama in Ghana and the metaverse was watching on the YouTube chat. Loki says everybody was excited back then, the good old days. Yeah, I mean, I take your point, Loki. The excitement about the possibility of virtual worlds for this kind of sort of intercultural exchange. That technology always, I mean, I would argue technology always has that for people who are in the world of social change, like I would include myself in that, um, and technology and using technology for good. People like us are always excited when new technologies come to the fore, and then we're always a little bit frustrated when everything turns into a shopping mall. Which in the Maiden Second Life, the movie, my 20th birthday movie, I have a chapter in there, is the future just a dead mall, which was buried from a absolutely fantastic documentary about Decentraland, which I recommend everyone to watch. I don't, what was the title of this document? Loki knows, but there's a Decentraland is essentially a Ponzi, a virtual world Ponzi scheme. I have no problems calling it that. The documentary is fantastic, and it ends on a little bit of a depressing note. But to me, as an anti-capitalist, it's capitalism really is what it is, and what pays the bills is going to be implemented. And in capitalism is a system where the tools of production are in the hands of the capitalist, and everybody else is does not have the tools of production, so they have to work for wages, and that, that is fundamentally the issue of a very unequal playing field. Now, some people say the playing field has been leveled because everybody has a computer. It's not that simple. And on my res day today, I'm not going to go into detail. If you're interested in marks, read marks or message me and we'll read it together. I'm going to read Capital again starting in March. But today we're here to celebrate Second Life, and we have only one more. Wait a minute, do we have winners, Arduin, for the record machine?
Only one. Again, this seems to be a very hard question. I don't know.
Oh, the question of what was the question?
Well,
voice
the
came
first
into
there
SL?
was two. One, well, no, I didn't even get an answer to that at all, but I did get an answer to the street the first Linden Lab office was at.
Wow. Damn.
So, and Christina Monteverdi
Monteverdi. Oh, I love this.
is the winner. She came up with the answer, Linden Street.
Oh my God, how difficult! This is too
Yeah,
complex,
and
our questions.
yeah, well, honorable mention again to someone, Tirips this time, told me that the early Sims in Second Life were actually named after Linden Street alleys,
Oh wow.
San Francisco. So, fun fact.
Okay, so we need to. I actually on my channel I have a video when voice came into SL. And now see, if you'd ask me, I would say 2007, but it might have been 2008. But the video on my channel, when SL voice first came, there was only a few Sims that had voice, and there was one by Chris, I forgot his last name, and he had these round tables where people from all walks of life would just chat. And I happened to be on a round table with a guy from Scotland who was completely drunk, and but he was very nice. He was just say, "Man, we need peace on Earth, and if SL can make peace on Earth," he was just keep going on and on. And I come from a left perspective, and it turns out that one of the Vivox engineers, makers of SL Voice, was a total right winger and a big Bill O'Reilly fan. And I was talking about the fact that I used to work for NPR, and he said, "Oh, the propaganda Marxist station." I go like, "What? What do you think news is?" And he said, "Well, Bill O'Reilly, that is really good reporting." And I go, "Oh my God." And it was really interesting, and it's captured a little bit in the video, in my reportage about it, because it was, I mean, again, you arrive at the places, or the places find you, that that resonate with you. And I found a round table that was a lot of fun, but also immediately got into a complete left right shouting match between me and the Bill O'Reilly guy, and the Scottish guy in between was just drunk and said, "Man, we need to get along." I can't do a Scottish accent, but yeah, that was awesome. That was my first voice experience, was arguing with a Bill O'Reilly fanboy. I don't know. People are very young here. Do you remember Bill O'Reilly? He's now broadcasting from his mother's basement. But he was big back in the day. Now, um, I completely forgot something here. So how many do we have to give away? Have to. How many do we have still that we
7.
can? 7. Okay. Now I'm gonna put up. Oh, here Briar says I seem to remember voice was on info hubs only. That's probably not correct. Briars, I don't know. It might be, but it possible. But this was the first private region that got voice from Chris Galatea was his name. Chris Galatea. I'll find the video and I'll put it in the chat a little bit later. Um, Now, I'm just reading through the chat. We sidestep from all division, our self-absorbed status. Uh, well, Matt, I'm not going to get into a political discussion here because we'll never find the end of it. I'm pretty opinionated. Um, but I also used to be a political reporter. Voice was also the largest phone service in the world. I vaguely remember. Where was I? Okay, so here's the thing that I forgot, but we can wrap this into a question. Now, I'm gonna put up something here on the slide board. Now, this is a guy with a cat. This is not me. This is not me. Uh, the age of this guy when the picture was taken is approximately my real life age, but this is not me. Now, the first person who I am Arden Schwartzman, the name of this guy. This is a famous writer, a famous American writer. I'm not going to say the genre. He was a genre writer. He tried literary fiction, but he was more known through his genre writing. And there's a significance to this guy for me personally, as a big fan, but also to the day to February 20th, which is my rest day. So message this and Arden, tell me if you get a message who this guy is. Are you getting any messages? Let's see. Because maybe no messages. Oh my God. Okay, then let's just say this is one of the greatest science fiction writers of the 20th century. Not only American, I would say worldwide. Maybe Stanislas. Okay, let's just say American science fiction writers. One of the most famous American science fiction writers of the 20th century. It's not Frank Herbert. Um, he died a week before a movie premiered that was based on one of his novels, and that movie is huge. Um, and it spawned so an entire genre of movies that are now basically said to be in the vein of this writer. Um, and there are tons of movies made, sometimes of a short story, sometimes just from an idea. And didn't he just say who it is? Loki, no, nobody said who it is. It's not Frank Herbert. Are you kidding me? Um, Okay, if we don't get the question, if we don't get an answer to this, I'm going to give it away and we'll ask another question because I don't want to be a dick about this. Um, now, people are slow today. I know that Dex knows it, but Dex already won everything. And Caddy says she knows, but she already won stuff. I don't know. Can people win twice and just give it away? So okay, another hint. The movie that the where he died in 1982, a week before a super famous movie came out based on one of his novellas or novels. Um, Frank Herbert's son. Jesus Christ, Loki. That's sad. Uh, okay, I'll just give it away when we ask another question because what I found out, and I read his trilogy. This is of course Philip K. Dick. Okay, Philip K. Dick, one of the greatest science fiction writers the world has ever seen, certainly American. And the last three novels, sometimes referred to as the Valis trilogy, Valis, The Divine Invasion, and the Transmigration of Timothy Archer, three books that were written back to back and came out shortly before he died. They have to do, they're very, very deep philosophical and theological books because they deal with a vision that he had. He had a vision where a superhuman being that he talks about in these three books, and these three books are deep, and he is trying to figure out if this is God who he saw, this is um, if this is a machine that he saw, um, but he saw something, and that something told him that we all live in a simulation, that we all just live in a simulation, that happened early in his life. Sorry, not early in his life. He was already, how old was he? 40 something. So he had this vision, and later he talked about that he had sort of interesting other visions when he was younger. But that particular incident that completely changed his life, there's a lot of documentaries about this. There's also a book called The Exegesis of Philip K. Dick. Brieri is saying, Val is like losing your mind reading a book. Absolutely. Three, The Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch, one of my favorites. Mine too, Briarius. I would actually recommend. I would not recommend Valis, the Valis trilogy, to a new Philip K. Dick person, but it's unbelievable when you read it and then you reread the other stuff. But anyway, why am I going on about Philip K. Dick? So I'm reading the Valis trilogy, and he talks about this vision that he had, and he was coming from the dentist, and the person from the chemist bringing him the pain medicine. She had a fish symbol, and the fish symbol started to glow pink, and then he had a vision of this person telling him that we live in a simulation. Now, you guess when that happened, my dear friends. When did he have a vision of a person telling him that we all just live in a simulation? You guessed it. It was February freaking 20th, 1974. 50 years ago on this day. And I saw this documentary. This is a screenshot from the documentary. On February 20th, 1974, Philip K. Dick experienced the first in what was to become a series of visions. Okay? He described his first vision as anamnesis, a term originally used by Plato. What does that mean, that term anamnesis? It means loss of forgetfulness, meaning you know all this stuff, but it's so pushed so far down that you forgot it, and then you learn how to lose that forgetfulness. Anyway, you can read this on his Wikipedia, and it's just totally insane. It's just totally never occurred to me that it's on my freaking REZ day, February 20th, when Philip K. Dick found out we live in a simulation. And we are still in a simulation. Loki says Philip K. Dick talked on the phone by candlelight. Yeah, big Philip K. Dick fan here. And so what should we do now, Arduin? Should we ask another question to give away?
I have one here.
Do you have a
Because
question?
the very hard one, the Philip K. Dick, I had zero. Well, I had a few good answers. Those people already won a prize before, so the count is 10 then, right? Still. But the next question, for everyone, it's a kind of a tricky question, but you can Google it. It's a juicy little fact about Second Life.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is as follows. On what exact date did Meta acquire Second Life?
Oh my God, that's a great question. Let me repeat this
Google
question.
it.
At what, in what year or what date, right?
What exact date, including the year?
What exact date was it when Meta acquired Second Life? Okay? Everybody got that question? Everybody got that question? Okay, and I'm going to play another one. Now, people sometimes ask me, what was the most controversial video you ever made in Second Life? And I'll show it. Because when Mesh was coming, again, we already talked about it. When Mesh was coming, it was very controversial, and people were really afraid, understandably so. If I could make one criticism of Linden Lab, and I met a lot of Lindens, and they're all lovely people, and this is not against anybody individually, but we all know that communication sometimes is difficult. It's difficult between spouses. It's difficult between parents and children. Please mute your mic, everybody in the world. And it's difficult sometimes from company to users. Linden Lab has had issues with communicating sometimes. And when Mesh was rolled out, there was a lot of fear. And I think the fear among the community, especially the creator community, could have been nipped in the bud by better communication, but it's watered down the bridge. Now, when Mesh came and when Mesh was announced, I pitched to Linden Lab a fun little machinima that I did a concept video of. I showed it to them. They said, "That's awesome. We're going to put that out. Uh, we're going to put that out on the official channel." And I completed the video, and they saw it and they go like, "This is so awesome. We're going to put it out." And again, I uh, or we who were involved in making this video, we did not want to cause any harm. We didn't want to increase existing anxieties around the economy. We just wanted to have a little bit of fun, and we put out this video, and we're gonna watch it in a second. But let me say, this video was released on the official YouTube channel, Second Life channel. It was promoted through, I don't know what back then, maybe a group message or whatever they had on Facebook, and there was so much backlash. There was outrage. People were so outraged that they took this video down within the hour. Okay, so here is the video that now, 14 years later, is it's no big deal. Here we go. The video was, I think we called it "Mesh is Coming." Deal with it.
Goddamn Prim's mother piece of shit. What the Why don't you just do what I tell you? Damn it. I wish I could build something real with this crap.
Reed?
Father?
Yes, I am your father. Now listen, do you want to come over to the dark side?
Sure, I guess, but what's on the dark side?
Well, for one thing, a lot less prims.
Really?
Yes!
Woohoo! Neato!
Can you hear the buzz? Love is all around us. No. Time heals our wounds to say, and I confirm this gladly now.
Just want to pause it here real quick because this was a lot of fun. I don't know if you can see this on YouTube or if it's too small. Yeah, you can see it. So this sort of is a fake, made up comments. Second Life rolls back to the Middle Ages. Prokofy never. Who knows who Prokofy is? Raise your hand. You have no meshes to fear, my friends. Only the mongerers of fearful speech itself. Anonymous Linden, circa 1475. Mesh or no mesh, still can't build a chair for the life of me. Draxtor Dupre, that is still holds true today. I'm caught between a Primrock and a hard mesh place. Steam Bungee. I don't know if we made up that name. Yeah. Anyway, so that's that. That was the biggest controversy that I ever caused. Mesh is coming. Deal with it, Abraham Lincoln. So yeah, pretty fun video. Arjun, do we have a winner of the question? When was Second Life acquired by Meta?
We have two. Of course, this was a trick question, but it was Googleable, and the answer is April 1st. The year doesn't matter, but
Every year.
2022.
You know, every year Second Life was acquired by Meta. Every year, actually
Yeah.
before it was acquired by Meta, it was acquired by Facebook. You know, also what happens on that day, Arden, I'll tell you. On that very day, with some disturbing frequency, I am quitting Second Life. I don't know if it's gonna happen
Oh
this
yeah,
year.
yeah.
I don't know yet. I haven't decided. Maybe I'll come up with something else. Um, yeah. So,
The winners.
the winners, yeah.
The first winners, Alien. Alien. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Alien. The other winner is DJ Matt with one T.
DJ Matt with one T. Yeah, that's the better one of the DJs. The DJ Matt with two T's is really not that good. DJ Matt
Matthew
with one T is fantastic.
Cossa.
Just a quick mention where we are. We are here. I can give it away now. We're here on Second Life Book Club Island number 4. And we're on the location Tesseract. This is, of course, was built for the Second Life Book Club show around the absolutely amazing book America and the Cult of the Cactus Boots. A Diagnostic is a book written by Philip Friedenberg. The visuals are by Jeff Walton, and this is, of course, published by Rick Harsh and Corona Samizdat Publishing. This is an amazing book. I know people hear me going on about Infinite Jest, but this comes second. And of course, Philip would say, you know what, I'm nowhere near the brilliance of a David Foster Wallace, but he is very much inspired by Infinite Jest and other sort of maximalist novels, Thomas Pynchon, etc. This is an amazing book, and if you are interested in it, look back on the Second Life Book Club playlist. The conversation with Philip was amazing. This was an amazing program, and yeah, an amazing talent. Philip is. I mean, really an amazing piece of work. Also, the illustrations are just amazing. The illustrations, actually, wait a minute. Let's pan around here a little bit. These are the illustrations in the book. The book is a beautiful artifact. Again, people know me that how I am a big fan of physical books. And this book, you can get it from Corona Samizdat. Website is coronasamizdat.com. These are the illustrations of the book. Here's a grandma robot. These are the bovines with where their thoughts are being extracted and pushed down into human beings. The book is so wacky, incredible. World War Fallout Shelter. Let's see here. I'm just panning around. I think there's got to be. Oh yeah, here's the Nancy Reagan dog on a parachute. And here's the third eye going crazy. Here's the Dick Cheney suitcase that has his heart in it, but it's also kind of a time bomb. Fantastic illustrations. Very. I mean, it's really. I don't know. The book is a mixture maybe between Infinite Jest and the Illuminati trilogy. I would say a bunch of other stuff thrown in, but here's Philip, Jeff, and Rick. The Triumvirat. Oh yeah, this is the fiction generator. Wait a minute, this is not resing correctly. Here we go. So a lot of stuff. Where are we? Yeah. Oh, people do want to hear my story about how did I get into Second Life. Okay, I told this story many times, so I'm gonna be brief and try to make it fun. If I sound like I'm bored, I'm not bored about this story, but I just feel that other people have much more interesting stories about going into Second Life. But let me tell you mine. It was 2007. incidentally, February 20th. Can you believe it? And I was reading Snow Crash for some reason. This is a little bit of an aside. So I was reading Snow Crash. I have no idea why I read it. It had been in my shelf for a long time. I just happened to read it. Um, then I was working back then on a soundtrack for a teenage romantic comedy, which was very successful. A German movie. The movie was called Sommer. You can still find it out there. If you want to know more about it, IM me and I'll send you the soundtrack. And very proud of this soundtrack. Movie is typical rom-com, very, very commercial, mainstream movie, big budget, but very mainstream, totally not my cup of tea. Um, sorry. Directed by a good friend, talented guy, but so not my thing. But it was an interesting job, and I had a lot of freedom creating the music. So I'm writing the music, and I'm sending the music to mix to a friend in Hamburg, Germany, who I used to tour with when I was a touring musician. And we are on the regular phone, landline phone, and we're talking about touring. Back in the day, we had a pop band. We were signed to a major label. Initially, we sold a lot of records. We were in posh hotels. Then the record sales slowed. We were in shitty hotels, and we were talking about being on the road. My friend Sunday says, "Oh my God, I don't miss being on the road, but I miss playing live." And I go like, "Yeah, me too. Maybe we should like do a band or something." And he says, "Yeah, we could have a virtual band." And that's literally what he said. He said we could have a virtual band. And I was like, "A virtual band? Hmm." And he says, "Yeah, like in a virtual world." And to this day, I don't 100% remember if he mentioned Second Life, but he for sure said virtual world. I hang up the phone, I search virtual world, Second Life comes up, I go to the website, I sign up immediately, I look in the last name list. It was a complete it was so fast. I didn't think twice about it. I looked for Dupre. I didn't look for Dupre. I found Dupre, and Dupre Joaquin Dupre is a Renaissance composer, 15th century composer that I was fond of at the time. I look at Dupre. Also, there's a Frank Zappa song, Dupre's Paradise. I'm like, okay, my first name Draxtor. I sign up. I go in world. I show up at the welcome area or wherever I showed up, and I found the directory, and I was typing in my friend's real life name into the directory, and nothing, of course, comes up. And I was like, okay, weird. I close, I close the viewer. I go back on the phone. I call up Sunday and say, "Hey, Sunday, I'm in world. Where are you?" And he says, "What world?" And I go, "Well, the virtual world you mentioned." And he says, "What? No, I'm not gonna go into. There's a bunch of losers in there. Are you kidding me?" And I was like, okay. I hang up the phone, and that was that. So I found Second Life while having a good, uh, well-paid job. I was not living in my mom's basement, but in fact, a friend of mine was immediately labeling me as a loser. And yeah, and then I was still working on the movie, and the best thing that ever happened to me was that after this romantic comedy that I was writing the score for, I was not asked to come back to write music for the follow-up. I have no idea why. It was a good project. It was a successful project. There's a lot of factors that go into this. There's a lot of people trying to get into this business, and there was no falling out or anything. And a lot of people at the time said, "Oh my God, you must be really sad that you didn't get the gig for the next movie." And I said, "You know what? This is the best thing that ever happened to me. The best thing that ever happened to me was not to get the next teenage romantic comedy, the next commercial mainstream corporate movie gig, but instead finding this amazing virtual world where I can where I can contribute with the talent that I have and the passion that I have for telling stories of creative people and putting that out into the world and creating um, a repository, an archive, a quasi-ethnographic investigation of this amazing world. I mean, if I think back, the worst thing that could have happened is that I would have gotten the next film, and now I would be sitting here with considerably more money, right? But to be honest, looking back, I would have to say, well, what have you contributed to the world? Run-of-the-mill mainstream garbage, commercial crap. And again, this is not to talk bad or diss people who work in this field. I happen to not be a fan of the culture industry. I'm it's just not for me. So this was just amazing, and here I am 17 years later. So we're coming to the end of this broadcast. Let me look at the chat. Thomas says mainstream often means making cookie cutter creativity. How could that possibly work? Well, it does for the culture industry. If you read Adorno, read the chapter on the culture industry. That is still fresh as it was in 1944. Arden, wait a minute. Do we have to announce a winner? Did we even ask a question?
Yes.
What was the question? I forgot already.
Oh no! Wait. Hang on. The meta thing was the last one.
Right. We need to come up with another question.
I didn't come up with another question.
Okay, wait. I have one. The question is, which former Linden Lab CEO is an avid golfer in real life? I'm going to hint that this is also possibly a trick question, or maybe not. Okay? So which former Linden Lab CEO is an avid golfer? Don't put it in local chat. Don't put it on YouTube. Send it straight to Ardern, and that's going to be, okay, Bren. I knew Bren was going to give it away. Okay, and I have to come up with another question. I have another question. Does he currently sell golden sneakers? If Bren, you want to win it? How many do we have left, Arduin? How many record players?
With Bren, only 4 left.
Okay, we have 4 left. Give Bren another one. She won it. But I have another question. So we have 3 left. 3 left to give away. 17 record players. Again, with this box of records by an artist who might be complete garbage because his name resembles a coal-fired power plant in the UK. Tsai on YouTube says Mark. And that was actually my original answer. Mark Kingdon, aka M. Linden, because he was talking about golf as I remember him constantly. And I was at Facebook still at the time, and he was posting about golf all the time. So yeah, Tsai was correct, but I think Bren is even more correct because all CEOs love golf. So here's the next question. We have 3 left. 3 tintable record players with public domain songs, except for this garbage. Life Goes On and Then It's Over. Why is this record called Life Goes On and not Second Life Goes On and Then It's Over? That would have been a more apt title. But anyways, who am I to judge this guy, this singer-songwriter? The next question, Arduin, don't answer it, is what was Strawberry Linden's maiden name? I'll leave it at that. What was Strawberry Linden's maiden name? If you want to win one of these... Oh my God! Here is Theodore W. Adorno. Theodore V. Adorno. Am I kidding? Are you kidding me? I was just talking about the culture industry chapter of the Dialectic of the Enlightenment by Adorno, and here is Adorno. He's a cat. Okay, Adorno, if you want to talk about the culture industry in local chat, please do. Everybody will see it. And did I say hi to everyone here? Shyla, Dex, yes, Elian, Tiribs, Mystic, and Valencia, and here of course the SL Book Club manager. Now, here we got Theodore Adorno with us. Now we have no fear. We have nothing to fear because we will protect it. One thing that I mean, there's stuff to critique about Adorno, of course. He was a staunch anti-communist, and I understand about the times, but that's a completely different discussion. He kind of conflated totalitarianism with fascism and communism, which is really not an accurate analysis. But Adorno also hated jazz, which is a problem. But again, different times, different times. I still love Adorno. Adorno's work is incredibly important. Where are we? Now, we have a question and we have another short film before this question gets answered. Wait a minute. I just found out something. I'm such a stickler for accuracy. Here we go. Adorno is rolling his eyes. Did a student show you her boobs, Adorno? Sorry, inside joke. Now, a lot of people say, oh, Julio Cortázar. You know what? Julio Cortázar wrote a book that I was looking for, but it was only available in Spanish. I couldn't find the English translation. And it's a field guide for revolutionaries. Adorno, please look it up and tell me later. Tell me in direct message or open message. But anyway, I have another video queued up, and the video is a project, the California Legacy Project, which we did for radio, and then we did little machinimas, and these are actually narrative little machinimas about California culture and California writers. And this one is about Mary Austin. Sometimes people ask me, why, Draxtor, why don't you do narrative stuff? This comes close to it. It's a very short one that I'm proud of. This is from the California Legacy Project, where Professor Terry Beers, who teaches English literature at Santa Clara University, introduces us to California history through literature and also nonfiction. And for the radio, we did 800 episodes of this. Was a syndicated radio program. 800 episodes, and I think 4 hours of special. And videos, I think I just maybe did 5. Here it is, California Legacy, episode 2.
For early pioneers, the California deserts were formidable places, and for many of us today, they remain so. But for those who have chosen to live there, as did essayist and novelist Mary Austin, the desert could be a welcoming home. I'm Terry Beers, and this is your California Legacy. Mary Hunter met and married Stafford Austin and moved with him to Independence beneath the eastern escarpment of the Sierra Nevada. There, Mary Austin was moved by the palpable sense of mystery in the desert air.
For all of the toll the desert takes of a man, it gives compensations, deep breaths, deep sleep, and the communion of the stars. It comes upon one with new force in the pauses of the night that the Chaldeans were a desert-bred people. It is hard to escape the sense of mastery as the stars move in the wide, clear heavens to risings and settings unobscured. They look large and near, as if they moved on some stately service not needful to declare. Wheeling to their stations in the sky, they make the poor world fret of no account you who lie out there watching, nor the lean coyote that stands off in the scrub from you and howls and howls.
Though Mary Austin moved elsewhere, it was California's landscape and native people that early shaped her voice and led her to write the lovely, evocative essays collected in her 1903 nature study, The Land of Little Rain.
Your California Legacy is a production of the California Legacy Project at Santa Clara University, on the radio at kazU.org, on the web at californialegacy.org.
Yeah, Your California Legacy, Mary Austin, Land of Little Rain. Really, really a fun project. Ardwin, did anybody come up with the question? What was Strawberry Linden's maiden name? I mean, come up with the answer. Nobody?
Only previous winners.
Oh,
Came very quick.
okay.
There's a guy hovering 1,300 meters away from here, over a kilometer.
Okay.
Let's give him a prize too.
Yeah.
For just being there,
For
up
just
in the
hovering?
sky. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. God, this is like, gotta get rid of this inventory, Ardwin. What is Strawberry Linden's maiden name? Jesus Christ. People can't sing? Anyway, so we're gonna close out this broadcast, and I do want to ask this question about me continuing. Do people want me to continue to produce documentaries? Actually, wait a minute, before Theodor Adorno, because he was mentioning Julio Cortázar. The book that I was referring to is called Libro de Manuel. The English translation is A Manual for Manuel, and this is I'm looking up here. It's Cortázar's only explicitly political novel, as a direct response to the escalating political repression and violence in Argentina. And this is I read about this very, very interesting form that is basically a novel in the form of a manual, of a sort of a fictional instructional manual to becoming or to being a revolutionary and to fighting against oppression. So I was looking on eBay, but they don't have it in English. So if somebody comes across this book in English, let me know. Loki says Strawberry Linden's maiden name, Barbie. Jesus. The question's already gone. Now, my question, not the question is gone, but the items are gone. We gave it away. Now, Linden Lab, the arrangement that I had with Linden Lab as a contractor, I'm not going to, of course, disclose how much they paid me. Let me just say it was a fraction of what a video editor, just a video editor, let alone somebody who's in any editorial capacity as a director would get. And I had several friends of mine saying that they feel like I was cheated by Linden Lab. That is absolutely not the case. The amount of money that Linden Lab paid me for the making videos and video reportages and mini documentaries for the official YouTube channels, to me was always an absolutely fair amount. Why would I say that if I would have gotten as a video editor or a director, if I would have pitched this to PBS or whatever, would have gotten probably 10 times the amount? Simply because I care about this community and I care about complete freedom to choose the topics and the presentational format with which to tell these stories. So the complete freedom that I got from Linden Lab in terms of not only choosing the stories, but also how to present them, what to emphasize, that was in the contract. And so the Made in SL series, for example, those are all 100% me choosing and pursuing the subject matter and presenting it the way that I saw fit. Now, for human interest pieces, if you're an influencer if I want to call myself an influencer for a company and the company pays you, it's an easy relationship with me because I'm not critical of the company. I could be very critical of corporate decisions, but I decided when I first came in, and this is my res day after all, because I decided 2 weeks after I came into Second Life, after I was born here, that I wanted to use my time to counter, to be a advocacy journalist, if you will, to have a point of view. I've never pretended I'm an investigative journalist or some sort of muckraker. I'm an advocacy journalist who advocates a creative life, a life where one pursues self expression over anything else. And that's what Second Life represents to me. And that's what I wanted to pursue. So when the first talks with Ebbe started, and Ebbe started sponsoring the Drax Files World Maker series, that was the arrangement where they saw, of course, a benefit for them. They saw value. Wait a minute, Drax is looking at our platform and our product in a positive light. Of course, we want to be associated with him. I started with my goal to balance the mainly negative coverage of Second Life in the mainstream media with a specific focus on positivity early on. Like I say, 2 weeks with my first machinima reportage. So this is not something where I changed because Linden Lab says you need to be less critical or whatever. I have been criticized over the years as someone like, whoa, you just with the Love Made in SL series, you're pretending that everything is so awesome and harmonious and people never cheat on each other and people don't get divorces because they have an affair with an SL hooker or whatever. And I say no, I'm not pretending that this doesn't exist, but the fact of the matter is that these stories are being told, the story of someone cheating on someone or a astronaut putting on an adult diaper and stalking their real life affair, and that was in the in the media. Look it up. My goal was to counter that specifically with a specific point of view. So I always had this point of view, and that's how I see my role. So in that essence, I'm not a neutral. I'm not a neutral, objective observer of this space. I'm a fanboy, and I want to focus on human interest stories about people and topics that are not being told, where people in virtual environments that are not algorithmically driven, how people uh, thrive in this environment. That's my goal, and that is what Linden Lab sponsored because they see it as a positive way to present their brand. So in that sense, it was a synergy. Now, in order for me to continue doing this, I will have to do a calculation because I do have to uh, provide for my family, for my dog. He eats very expensive dog food. My son and my wife. I don't require much, so I will come up with something and I will announce this on my Substack, which is a newsletter platform. So please subscribe to the Substack because this is a very, very reliable way to inform people about the work. It's draxtor.substack.com. Okay? Very important. I'm looking here um, through the chat, and people, I guess, find interest and value in what I have to offer. Um, Let me just be frank about it. If I don't, if I'm not able to cover my expenses, and expenses is basically just the time, so that I don't have to use the time to earn an income in another way. If I can't cover my expenses, then I will not be able to continue doing these stories. So, and this is just, oh look, Nexus Loon is coming here with his girlfriends, Candy and Candy, Candy and Can't Do. Oh my God, Nexus, I can't show boobs on YouTube. Nexus, go sit down. Oh my God. Well, these are prim boobs, I guess. Prim boobs are probably fine. Arden, tell Nexus to get out of the shot because he doesn't have voice on. He's welcome to stick around, but he has to get out of the shot while I'm doing my pitch here. So I will come up with a number and then announce this on Substack, something that I need in terms of covering my expenses so I can produce one, let's say, Made in SL or World Makers type episode. Maybe I'll come up with a new brand name. Um, and yeah, and I'll put that out there. Right now, I was thinking if 500 people just pay $2, and I mean real dollars, each per month, I can do one story per month. So that is actually um, something that made me feel really good because if I get 500 people for $2 each per month to subscribe or on a patron type situation, or 1,000 people for $1, I can probably continue. God, I'm getting these. I gotta click this way. Um, I can probably continue doing the show. So please think about this, everybody who's watching right now. If you are able and willing to support the program like this, and I will do an announcement through the Substack when the contract officially ends, which is March 31st. In the meantime, if you like to sponsor this program, I don't know if Patreon is so great because I don't know what percentage they take. If you want to support this channel, no, not $2 Linden per month, Arden. If you do want to support this channel, look on the link on the Ko-fi link and click on the Ko-fi link or send a super chat. Actually, before you send a super chat on YouTube, go to Ko-fi because YouTube takes 50%. So I don't want to waste the REZ Day celebration with talking about finances. I just wanted to mention that so that everybody's informed that I'm a free agent once again. And the bottom line is I cannot continue spending the time producing these stories because they are very labor intensive the way I do it. It's not just a stream. The stream is fun, but putting a reportage together or these types of documentaries uh, is a lot more labor intensive than sitting here and shooting the shit with you guys in Arduin. But it's very little that I require, and I think if there's a number of people, the number for each person will be very low, and then I can justify putting in the time to produce at least one episode per month. So that's in that sense, yeah, Arduin. I mean, the Drax Files World Makers. Again, this name came up like in 30 seconds, and let me just say, what do people think? People who were familiar with the Drax Files. How about coming back with the Drax Files, but they're now called the Drax Files Next Generation? Is that stupid? Is that too goofy? TNG? Drax Files Next Generation? Naxos, thank you. Naxos is ironing the clothing. Naxos, you don't have voice on. You can't hear us. Covered those boobs. Jesus. We're on YouTube, Naxos. Philip K. Dick is looking at you. So Drax Files Next Generation, I thought that was funny because the Drax Files is obviously X Files, and but oh, Nexus can hear us all good. I don't see your voice up. Nexus, thank you for ironing, and your girlfriend is lovely. The other one left. I don't know what happened there. So yeah, I'm looking through the chat here. Loki says it depends on his target audience. I mean the target audience of Nexus and Candy. That is absolutely correct. So let me see if I have one more video to take us out. Oh, I have an outro. I put an outro thing together. Oh, people remember SL Go? SL Go was Second Life mobile. When did that come out? 10 years ago, 9 years ago? SL Go was amazing and it worked. And it was basically SL being rendered on high-end machines and then streamed to the mobile device. And I did a commercial. Oh yeah, it was 2014. I did sort of very polished commercial. You see it on YouTube, an ad, like a 1-minute ad. But I also did like a review, and maybe should we watch this review? So that was really, really amazing. I hope that the SL Mobile that is coming along now is as good as this one was, because SL Go was just absolutely nuts. And of course, if people remember SL Go, because of the way they did it, they rendered it on these machines, so they had to have these machines running all the time. It was basically pricey, and they could not. Yeah, Valencia says Sony bought it and buried it. That is true, but it was also not really. It was just too expensive. Most people didn't want to shell out $10 a month, and it was really. It just was an expensive endeavor because the technology behind it did not scale. So I wouldn't blame it all on Sony buying the tech and then burying it. It's really a matter of them not seeing any type of profit. But let's watch this because I think that was it was just absolutely amazing. I was so blown away. Everybody who tried it was so blown away because there was no lag. Sometimes you felt like there was less lag on SL Go than it was on actual SL on the actual machine, and the fidelity was higher, of course, because it was rendered on these high-end machines. So the technology is pretty amazing. Um, so let's watch this and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, so this might be a little long. This might be 8 minutes, but it's interesting. Blast from the past. Maybe if a Linden is watching and you're a new Linden and you have not gotten a chance to try out SL Go. I mean, here we go. Here's my SL Go test run.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the music off here. I accomplished putting a media texture on a prim but also able to put a physical prim. Cool. Prim building. Still kind of cool. But I was also able to put a media texture, a little bit bigger here. And materials, media, choose. Actually, I did put my website on here, so should be visible. Okay. Why is it not visible? Let's see. Materials, media. Okay, so let's just remove this texture and then choose again. Yeah, I have selected multiple. That's fine. So now I'm gonna put Draxtor.com and enter. Get rid of the keyboard and make it small again. Oops, I was typing in the wrong window. Here we go. So here I'm going to put the shared media texture. Why does it show twice? Okay. Ah, yeah. I need to press enter. Okay. Ah. Overlay keys gone. Overlay keys be gone. There we go. Now it should be loading, and I'm going out of edit mode, and I'm zooming in, and here's my website. Jesus Christ. So it works. It's upside down. So it's upside down. So what do? I go back to my interface and go to world. No, go to build and go into edit mode. How do I go into edit mode? I have to build first. Okay. Here's a prim. Now I'm in edit mode. That's the trick. Get rid of this prim. Now I'm here. My website. Now I can rotate. The reason why I'm in Second Life is I want to look at flat websites. No. But just for shits and giggles, as they say. So stretch it. Bigger. And let's make it flatter. And while we're at it, let's turn this into physical. Oops. Now I have a problem because I minimized. Okay. Get rid of the overlay tools. Choose object. Make it physical. No. Come on. Physical. Here we go. Get rid of this. Now oops. Okay. Kids are playing Minecraft on the same Wi-Fi connection, so that's not a surprise. But now I'm going back to move, and now this prim should be physical. So if I select my main prim, boom! Fluffy's looking at it. Fluffy likes physical prims. I'm still in edit mode, so I can still edit it. Oops. Grab it right. Scheiße. Okay, well that's not. Come on. Okay, enlarge. Here we go. And just because it's so much fun, it's just amazing how responsive this is. I can't believe it. So here I'm still in edit mode. Now I can grab this prim, which is also a physical prim, I think. And yep. Crazy. Alright, so this doesn't play back Flash content, which is no surprise because the WebKit is out of date. But anyway, so what I also really like and what I will explore in the video for real is teleport. So now I'm gonna just teleport to InSilico, which is already here in my landmarks, and boom. Hello? Oops, wrong button, sorry. So now, still getting used to the controls. Now I'm in InSilico, but I'm in the off-world colonies. Turn the music down. I'm old. I'm over 40. Now I want to go into the commercial district. This is the commercial district. Okay. It's the off-world colonies. Okay, usually... here we go, see? In the chat, it gives me an option. Oops, wrong button. Gives me an option. I'm going to get rid of the overlays. Here we go. Are you lost? The city is this way, so I'm going to... Oops. I'm going to click here, which will open a landmark to... Just getting used to the overlay. And now I can teleport. And now I'm in the city. I'm going to get rid of these windows. and get rid of the overlay. Just want to look around in the city. Now I'm in the city center, which is one of the most complex environments. And not one of the most complex, but it's just rather dense with stuff. And it was built in 2009, so it wasn't built with mesh or anything. Efficiently, it's all built with prims, as far as I know. And so this is usually an incredibly laggy environment, and the response here. Oopsie. It's hard to hold the camera. Ah, crap. The response here is just crazy. It's crazy good. Alright, let's teleport to Tableau. Tableau should also be in my landmarks. And let's see here. There I am in Tableau. It works. And this is a potential issue because it's point to click. I don't know if you can actually get rid of this. But I'm going to bring the overlay buttons back, and I'm going to click to buy, and it's possible to buy this here for $0 from Nylon Pinkney, and boom, there you go, it's in my inventory. That is just really good. Okay.
More to come.
There was me in real life. Absolutely amazing. I haven't seen this in years. I just pulled this from the archives. I didn't review it before now. I mean, unbelievable. How good. So the upcoming SL mobile viewer, the bar is pretty high, right? So I think I'm gonna wrap it. Needs more precision steering using a mouse. Yeah, but I'll tell you, after I used it for a while, I thought the navigation is really good. The overlays were really good. And again, they stopped developing that once they realized that it wasn't, they couldn't make this profitable. So I'm sure yeah, this video shows a little bit of the clunkiness, or what people may perceive as the clunkiness, but after using it for a while, I remember that it was really intuitive. I mean, also, Loki is watching here on the YouTube stream. Loki will probably say, that Drax manages to figure out anything that is sort of a game-like interface that fast. It's already a miracle. So yeah, pretty good stuff. Now let's wrap this. Again, thank you to everyone for the birthday wishes. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for supporting the work. And again, I'll make an announcement soon via the Substack. Let me just paste this into YouTube. Please subscribe. The Substack is going to be the main way to communicate how I will move forward. This is not a paid newsletter. This is just a newsletter that is not the algorithmically run social media garbage. It's not as unreliable as the SL group notices are. So this is something that I found is very reliable, and I will announce, you know, ideas, and I'll put a question out maybe also when I come closer to figuring out how to finance this whole operation once I crunch the numbers. And yeah, if you like to support my work, please throw us some shekels, and by us I mean me and my alts. Throw us some shekels via the Ko-fi link. The Ko-fi link is in the description. Oh wow, I'm just looking to through the Ko-fi emails. We got some support here. One from Dex. The other names I can't see. Dex, thank you very much. And the book club, yeah, people have been asking about the book club. The book club is ongoing. You can also donate Linden dollars, by the way. We have the book club still has sponsors. One is the Black Forest, whoever that is. Black Forest ham sandwich, more like it. Never heard of this crap. Got to be some prim garbage. And Bespoke Caravan. But you can also throw me Linden dollars, because very often in my stories we build specific sets to visualize certain abstract concepts that the interview partners and the protagonists talk about. As you know, this is part of my aesthetic in the mini documentary storytelling device. Yeah, it's been an amazing time, and also big thanks to Linden Lab. I know I got emails like, "Oh, Linden Lab doesn't know your what you're worth and what they have in you." Linden Lab knows. I have absolutely no hard feelings towards Linden Lab. These decisions are not made. First of all, they're made in different departments. And again, I'm not even mad at specific departments that made certain decisions to lay certain people off. These are tough economic times. This is a business, and there are other people who crunch certain numbers and they see certain values differently proportioned than I see them. And, again, reminding everybody that I'm an anti-capitalist and a Marxist. That doesn't mean that I'm against money. I'm not. I'm against being fairly compensated for your work. And the advantage that I have as an individual storyteller here in Second Life with the specific niche that I inhabit is that I am not looking into growing anything. I'm not looking to grow revenue or to run a certain profit or a certain 10x whatever within 2 quarters or whatever it is. In that sense, I'm not creating commodities. I'm creating goods that are that I want to put in the world to be appreciated by people who are interested in other people's stories. And in that sense, it's a truly altruistic endeavor that just comes from my own interest in leaving a record of people who I find fascinating. That's it. And so that means I have an advantage over a company that is forced to make ends meet or to at least break even. I mean, Linden Lab has the advantage of being a private company, where they have arguably an advantage over a publicly traded company, as far as I'm concerned. But of course, I'm not privy to what the leadership at Linden Lab now sort of, what they demand. I don't know if I'm the Terry. That's nice, Arden. I take that as a huge compliment. The Terry Gilliam of virtual worlds. I like to consider myself the Werner Herzog of virtual worlds, but Terry Gilliam just as much. Terry Gilliam, when you see interviews with him, there is someone who is very much aligned with my how I interpret art or how I define artistic expression, vis-a-vis the commercial aspect. That's 100% on point, Arduin. I would also add, since we're talking about him, Philip K. Dick. There's a fantastic Philip K. Dick interview where he talks about Blade Runner, because Philip K. Dick passed away, like I mentioned earlier, a couple of weeks before Blade Runner premiered. He was supposed to go to the premiere, and he went to the set. And there's his last interview. You'll find it. You Google the last interview Philip K. Dick, and you'll find an interview where he talks about. Well, the interviewer asks him, "What did you think of the footage?" And he saw 20 minutes of unedited footage, I think, and he went on the set. And when he talks about Blade Runner vis-a-vis his novel, that to me is also an incredibly insightful analysis of the relationship of any artist to the commercial world that artists have to exist in. And you know, like my anecdote earlier when I discovered Second Life and what I was doing at the time and how Second Life put me on a different path, or frankly, now in hindsight, I'm looking, recorrected a path that I was on, that I was veering away into the commercial movie world, where a lot of people, including my dad, said, "This is amazing. You hit the jackpot. You're writing soundtracks for huge mainstream movies. That's amazing." And yeah, not for me. So that Philip K. Dick interview and any Terry Gilliam interview, um, if you want to, or any blog post by Loki Elliott. I don't know if Loki is still watching. um, that's it. So we're bringing the Drax files back. Let's just say I'm going to promise this right now. We're going to bring the Drax files back when this is a matter of when Naxos and his girlfriend are done ironing my skirt, because I want to have a skirt. I want to have this. I want to have a polka dot dress as Captain Draxtor Picard. Um, yeah, we're gonna bring it back. When exactly, in what format, what frequency, I don't know, but it's going to be on this channel for sure. And yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you everybody in the room. Thank you Bryn. Thank you Arduin. Thank you Theodore V. Adorno, Mystic, SL Book Club Manager. Is that avatar still available? Valencia, Tirips, Dex, Ilian, and Shyla. I think she was here earlier. So did I thank everybody? And again, thank you, Lindens. Thank you, Linden Lab, especially, and okay, I want to mention a few Linden names real quick. So from the current regime, of course, Strawberry and Brett, my main two Lindens that I worked with for the video department. Brett is I think his last title was VP of Marketing, or is he the vice president of marketing? And then of course Strawberry, the senior boss of community relations and everything in between. Really, really awesome people, and everybody else at Linden Lab. Rest in peace, Ebbe. And Arden, did I promise to ask another question? Did we give away enough record players?
With a little bit of cheating, we have enough, yes.
Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to play a little outro. This is also a song. This is a song from an early Second Life documentary we did for German television called Log Into Life. You will find it if you Google it, if you look on YouTube. And this is just a few images from random cutting room floor stuff from like my little fly-through videos that I did over the years. There's a song called Life Oh Life. I play it all the time. It's one of my favorite tunes. And that concludes the stream. Please subscribe to the Substack because this is the way to keep informed. We're going to continue the book club. Just want to remind everybody. Okay, we're going to continue the book club. You know, might as well just throw this up here because the next book club is on March 6th with a novel about AI. Let's just put this up there. Because Joanne McNeil is coming. Joanne McNeil is amazing. Her new novel is Wrong Way. It's about AI. Do I need to say more? Joanne is fantastic. She wrote a nonfiction history of social networks, social media and social media networks called Lurking. She was on the Second Life book club with that book. It's a fantastic book, but this is her first novel. So this is March 6th. Book club continues with everything because I booked this stuff a year in advance, so everything is booked. And that's it. Thank you everybody for coming. I'm gonna throw it to the outro. Goodbye, everybody.
We're all thrown into it, one way or the other. We all try to steer it as straight as we can. Sometimes we collide with each other. Who is to blame and who's gonna fix the boat? Life, oh life, there's nothing to fear from your life. Let me know if I can be of any help. Life, you and I, let's try a fresh start today. What do you say? Let's close the door on the past. So we swim, and it is in so many ways just a little trick to keep our heads above water. But now I'm not afraid anymore.